You know those moments when you're driving and you have to hit the brakes because you just heard a lyric that hits so close? Or when you read something that so perfectly articulates what you felt, you stop and wonder, how did they know? For me, those lyrics, those lines become my lyrics and my lines. And the stranger who wrote them and I are now clearly best friends. David Sedaris and I became best friends too. I was living in Hawaii when I received 2 of David Sedaris' books of snarky and irreverent commentary. I was suffocating under the constant effort of having to be nice every day. Aloha, mahalo. When my mother died unexpectedly, I was already bitter, sarcastic, and judgmental. And this left me stranded on Oahu even angrier. David Sedaris told me it was okay to be grumpy and to think that you're the only sane person in your family or even the world. So David Sedaris and I are both from large families, and his family is an overarching theme in his work. While I certainly talk smack about my family to my friends, I've never put anything down in print because I'm too afraid to break the everyone act normal creed. I am envious of David Sedaris' candor and in how he comically revels in his family's faults and showcases their idiosyncrasies. My family is crazy too, David. They are. Come meet them. But when you show up for dinner, don't drink and don't swear too much. Yeah, I can't do it either. In his later work, when he talks about how his mother succumbed to cancer, I was comforted to find another member of the Dead Mom Club. See, me and my friend David have reasons to be sarcastic and judgmental. Our families are nuts, and we miss our imperfect mothers. After 2 years of reading everything he wrote, listening to every interview I could find online, and watching every YouTube ever posted of him, I had moved to San Diego and fell in with a community of people that seemed to like me, friends even, who were just as stoked when David Sedaris had a stop in town supporting his latest book. I was an unemployed graduate student and had ditched most of my books in Hawaii. I'd like to say it's because I don't need to line my walls with intellectual trophies, but really, they're expensive to ship. Most of my books went to Goodwill, but David Sedaris' books I left to those who I thought would really get him. I decided that since I no longer owned any of his books, I would instead bring one of my favorite books, The Joy of Cooking. I giggled at the irony of asking him to sign something so domestic and left center from his work. While waiting in line, I labored over which page to ask him to sign. I decided on the cocktail recipes, expecting that because he wrote about his experience with drugs and alcohol, that he'd find it clever too, right? My friend Christine was in line ahead of me at the book signing. I don't know what she said to him, but she made him laugh. She made David Sedaris laugh. He then offered her a personally colored tongue depressor. It's true. I guess David Sedaris colors tongue depressors during downtime on tour. He's so quirky. Now, The Joy of Cooking is not a small book. It's 1,136 pages and nearly 4 inches thick, making it difficult to conceal, especially when the staff is encouraging everyone to have their books ready. David Sedaris sees me clutching The Joy of Cooking to my chest under folded arms and says, "Oh, here is some bullshit coming." I smiled a huge smile and said something about being a broke library school student, how the library has all of our books, and that The Joy of Cooking is in fact a great book. He did not share my enthusiasm. We'll have that author sign it then. Looking back, what I wished I had said was, okay, this is a rude and uncouth request, but I gave away all your books when I moved, but I loved them, and I read them countless times, and they were a great company to me when I needed it most. Instead, I stammered, or as some witnesses might say, yelled, well, she's dead and you're not. It wasn't a light bulb that went off, more like a kick in the face when I realized that any kinship of snarky behavior and quirky families was only in my head. And that realization led to indignation. David Sedaris, he offered to sign something and produced a notepad with line drawings of a dollar bill. What's your name? Carol, I told him, librarian to the stars. He repeated the inscription back to me as he scrawled across the notepad, and It really sounded bratty when he said it. I slid the signed paper in the joy of cooking and met my friends outside. They were dumbfounded. Were you yelling at David Sedaris? Yeah. He didn't give me a tongue depressor. Asshole.